Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Eddie. Thank you for joining us today to our presentation. This is our core topic. We will discuss a very critical issue in information system security. We are going to break down a malware threat analysis and analysis specifically focus on the distribution of pirate application, and we also explore adaptive protection strategy to defend against their threats. Next, moving the next step, I would like to introduce our member. The first one is my name is Padi Arya Widura. My last digit name is 1020.
And the next one is me, Owen Kunal Katika, and my three last digit name is 025.
My name is Siputu Bagus Wiswanathan. My last four-digit name is 1007.
As for me, my name is Firman Rosanar Tonang, and my last digit number is 088.
Okay, next. First thing is the background problem. Let's look at the background and the core problem by comparing this image. One side we see a really high price of software like Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator and etc. And down here is the game very high price, 1 million, more than 1 million. And the right side is we see the unofficial website offering the exact same thing as game, software, and something else completely for free. We even include a meme crying saying that it's really for free to highlight how ridiculous what the tempts people to take the risk and took for illegal alternative. Let's move to the next slide. So the four dips deeper into the root of this issue, the need for specific software is frequently hindered by the high cost of official licensing. As a result, we are seeing the massive shift where people flock to unofficial form to download pirate or cracked application. The real danger here is that distributing these pirate apps is now in the main vector for spreading highly destructive malware such as credential stealer and ransomware. Worse yet, the success rate of this infiltration actually depends on heavily the user on intelligence through psychological manipulation. Users are tricked into voluntarily disabling their default security system just to install cracked application smoothly. Let's to the next slide. Okay, in the step 5, we address our problem formulation. We tackling three main questions today. First one is what are the latest trend and pattern of the cyber attack that infiltrate system through the distribution of cracked pirate application. The second, how do legal regulation in Indonesia, specifically the UU ITE, address malware spread, and why does our society continue to rely so heavy on pirate software? And the last is, what practical protection measure can we direct implement, such as utilizing a sandbox or layer built-in security to prevent the system infection when installing application? To answer this question, we have to set clear goals. We aim classification. We aim to first one is classify cyber attacks trend originating from illegal software. We also analyze the psychological manipulation or social engineering mechanism used against the user. Ultimately, we want to formulate comprehensive prevention strategies to fulfill the requirement of CPMK 33.1.
Okay. Continuing to the theoretical basis section. So on this slide, we will discuss all of the security attack that we find in this analysis. So the first one is malicious software, which is the core threat behind pirated application. It must be understood that cracked applications are a form of active attack that damage the integrity of information system. In practice, the dominant malware used is a Trojan, which does not replicate itself but relies on manipulation to be executed by the user. Aside from Trojan, there is also the threat of info stealers, which is malware specifically designed to automatically harvest sensitive data, such as password and other data that such as security bank, username, and other information that is private to us. The creation of these cracks relies heavily on the basis of reverse engineering, specifically using patching techniques that will be discussed later after this slide, namely direct modification of the binary instruction of an executable file to permanently change the behavior of the program. Okay, in this slide, we'll be examining two crucial and interconnected concepts, that is reverse engineering that I slightly mentioned earlier, and social engineering. By definition, reverse engineering is the process of dissecting and analyzing software code to understand its structure and logic without having to access the original source code. These are the techniques used by crackers to find and disable official license validation mechanism that was used by the corporation. These modified files are then infiltrated with virus-ridden malware before being distributed to the victims. However, this technical sophistication will not succeed without social engineering. Social engineering exploits physiological vulnerabilities in users without needing to bypass complex security measures in order to obtain sensitive information. The result shows that humans are often the weakest link in the security chain. Furthermore, the distribution trends are evolving to use SEO or search engine optimization and video platforms such as YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok to manipulate false credibility in the eyes of potential victims. So in this slide, I will explain the methodology that our team applied in compiling this analysis report. So for the approach, we use the PBL or problem-based learning, where we use real incidents as central problems. So for the data collection, we are relying on secondary data analysis through threat intelligence reports and OSINT or open source intelligence observation without executing illegal files. So here we found three main perspectives. So the first one is information system security perspective. So in this perspective, we highlight the CIA triad compromise that covering confidentiality, integrity, and availability, and the failure of daily protection mechanism due to the installation of pirated software. Then the second one is information technology perspective. So in this perspective, we do the evaluation focus on the exploitation of advanced technical architecture, such as the misuse of hypervisors to deceive operating system. And the last one is political and social perspective. The investigation focus on human elements and policies. We observe how physiological manipulation of human elements cause the users to voluntarily disable their own security protection.
There are also an analysis scope of cyber attack trend. First, the primary target. What is the primary target of this corrupted file or pirated file? It's targeting valuable digital assets using info stealer and ransomware. What's the attack mechanism? First of all, they use false positive doctrine, manipulating victims to disable the Windows Defender. And the second are stealth execution, moving silently to steal cookies and credentials, then sending them to the hacker's server without the user knowing. And the last but not least, the impact on the three pillars of security. First of all, confidentiality. It compromised due to silent data theft. Second, integrity. Compromised due to binary modification by patching and cracking the files. The third, availability. It compromised due to data encryption by ransomware. There are also impact of policy and social phenomena that we can see here. By the regulation in Indonesia itself, it already has a strong legal framework through the convergence of the copyright law, the electronic information, also as transaction law, to crack down on illegal access and destruction. But the reality is the use of online software in Indonesia is very high and commonly noted. The root of the problem are high economic disparity, where the price of foreign exchange licenses exceeds the regional minimum wage or UMR standard. And there is strategy that we can use on executing environment installation before we running it in our devices. First of all, we can use the using virtual machine or VM or sandboxing technology such as Windows Sandbox. Second, creating a simulated environment that is completely isolated from sensitive hardware and data. Third, enables behavioral analysis of programs. Fourth, when the sandbox is closed, the memory and malware are instantly destroyed without infecting the main system.
The next way to stay safe from the malware is using zero trust architecture. The name is sound fancy, but it means trust no one, always double check. Here now we do it. First, utilizing endpoint detection and response software. We need to hire in the smart security guard or endpoint detection response is instead of just basic antivirus. The difference is regular antivirus is like guard who only looks for people on most wanted list. But EDR is like high-tech security team that watch everything happening inside the building in real time. Even if file look new or clean, the EDR keep an eye on it and make sure it doesn't start acting like thief later on. Second, the system will not immediately trust the execution process the user run as administration permission. So the giving permission doesn't mean full trust. We all know the moment when parent up asks us to click run as administrator. Normally, we just click yes and hope for the best. In zero trust setup, the system does not immediately trust the app, even if you give it administration permission. It's like giving gas key to your house, but still having security camera follow them from the room to the room, just for be safe. Next, EDR will block any process that attempt to disable the default protection or modify the core register. This is the coolest part. The EDR is programmed to spot red flag how the program behave. If the parent app suddenly tries to turn off your Windows Defender or mess with your computer brain, the EDR will instantly block it. It doesn't matter if the app says safe or if the app acts like malware, it get kicked out immediately. So zero tax take pressure off you. Even if you make mistake or run 6 risky file, the system will descend to catch the bad behavior before it can steal your cookies or lock your file. Next. Let's talk about personal digital asset. Even with the best security tools, the final lane is defined as you. The next way to protect yourself from malware when dealing with pirate software is through the modern cyber hygiene education. So think this as training your common sense to spot trap before you click. First, recognizing pattern of manipulation in instructor that tell you to turn off security feature. We all seen the manual of crack that said disable Windows Defender or disable your antivirus for the crack to work. The reality is the classic pattern. This is the classic pattern of manipulation. They want you turn off your security so their malware can walk right in your system without being caught. If the file asks you blank for your computer, this is huge red flag. Second is realizing that cost of losing to data theft far exceed the price of original lesson. So pirating software feels like saving money, but we need to look the bigger picture. The match is legal license might be cost for a few $100 or more expensive, but the cost of losing your bank details, social media account, or personal photo data theft is much higher than that. When you use crack, you aren't just using free software. You're risking a loss that far extend the price of original license. So the last is promoting the use legal open source software alternative. If the official software is just too expensive for your budget, you don't have to turn into piracy. There are almost always legal open source alternative that completely free to use. Apps like LibreOffice, for example, LibreOffice the app like if you think the Microsoft Word is so expensive. Next is GIMP. If you think Adobe Premiere is too expensive, Blender too. They are safe, legal, and won't hide malware setup. It's much smarter way to get your work done with the risk. So good cyber hygiene means realizing your data is much valuable asset. Don't trade your security for free download. Next. All right. We reach the conclusion for our presentation. The main takeaway is that downloading pirate apps isn't just free shortcut anymore. It has become primarily hardware for spreading the dangerous malware like Trojan and ransomware. These threats are use social engineering to trick us into lowering our guard and disabling our own computer security. So we need to look at bigger picture. The reality is the root of this problem in Indonesia is massive economic gap. When the software license costs more than monthly minimum wage or UMR, people start to see piracy as something normal. However, even though it's common, this violation is still strictly regulated by our copyright law and ITA law. Simply telling people just don't do it because it's illegal. This hasn't really worked in the real world. sand-based probation aren't enough. We need to move toward a more adaptive and layer protection strategy. So to stay safe in risky digital environment, we need to take these 3 big steps. We need to isolate the danger, use sandboxing or virtual machines, so that if cracker file is malicious, it cannot be touched your actual system. Next is trust no one. Implement zero trust architecture with EDR protection to automatically block any weird suspicious system behavior. And last is change the mindset. Invest in cyber hygiene education and start moving toward open source software. It's free, legal, and most importantly, is safe. Next, at the end of the day, the cost of losing your data far extend the price of any self-realization. So don't let a free app cost you everything. Thank you. Stay aware and stay secure.